What's up, nerds and nerdettes and we little nerdlings all? All bundled up, but it's still me, your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. What's up? So I made a promise, the last big drop I did, my channel update when I hit 500 subscribers last week. I said that one of the new shows that we're going to be looking forward to regularly now is the Midday Monologues for Monday. So here we go for Monday's Midday Monologue. Now, I wouldn't have normally done this because the weather dropped down here in New York City. Yeah, we're in the 40s, but the real feel, what the cloud cover and the winds and the moisture in the air got us down to the 30s today. But I said I was going to come out and you guys could look forward to a new Monday drop. So here we are. What I want to talk about is something that got me involved in my love of tabletop games. In fact, it is the main reason that I love tabletop gaming so much, and that's role-playing games. I started with Dungeons & Dragons when I was 8 years old back in 1977, and I haven't looked back since. I have loved tabletop gaming, the camaraderie that it brings with everyone sitting around the table physically in person, where you can read body language as much as you can read what they're saying. You know what I mean? Anyway, I love board games. I love role-playing games. I love tabletop games. But my first and truest love, RPGs. So, when you love RPGs and you want to play board games, is there a mix between the two? Yes, there is. I want to mention a few games here. I got three solid games. I got a couple of games that are close enough to definitely call RPGs, and then I got a fail that I'd like to talk about. So first of all, 3 games that I have in my collection, that I proudly own in my collection, that I think should be in any serious board gamer's collection, that are role-playing board games, RPG board games. 2 of them are by Fantasy Flight Games. I think just by saying that, you probably have a very good idea of what they are. So let's start with those 2 first. And the first one is the 2nd edition. Probably nothing wrong with the first, but I've never had it and I don't have it. So let's just talk about the one I do have, the 2nd edition of Descent, Journey into the Dark. And into Darkness. Sorry, Journey into Darkness. I do have the 2nd edition of that game, and I'm really glad I own it. I'm glad that's on my shelf. It is a great RPG feel. It has a campaign setup. Characters advance like they should in an RPG feel. They have character skills, so when they accomplish enough tasks, get enough experience, that they can decide what the next step in their tree, in their class tree, is going to be. Real good RPG feel. Definitely there, and it gives you that fantasy game that all RPGs have to thank for their origin. Dungeons and Dragons. So you get that fantasy feel. You get the dragons and the monsters, and you get the magic. You get the swords and the bow and arrows and the spells, and it's great. It really is. It definitely hits a fix for RPGs if you're playing board games. The other one by Fantasy Flight Games is Star Wars Imperial Assault, which is pretty much Descent 2.5 edition, really. If you know how to play one game, you pretty much know how to play the other one. So, unlike the setting for Descent, which is fantasy, this is obviously a sci-fi, or if you want to get technical, a science fantasy setting. But it embraces Star Wars in such a way. This is probably the most Star Wars game you are ever going to play if what you're looking to play is the particular heroes of the game. Now, Star Wars Rebellion is different than if you want to play a Star Wars game where it feels like the overarching movie plots and you're the powers behind the scene, then that's the game to play. But if you're looking for the hero to hero, the person to person, the personal, that's what I'm looking to say. If you're looking for that personal feel, Imperial Assault is definitely the board game RPG that you are going to want to play. And again, just like Descent, you're going to advance your character from campaign to campaign. You're going to be getting better. Just like an RPG game, you're going to be increasing in your skills. You're going to be getting new abilities, greater equipment. Again, RPG in a box. So the other one that's in my collection has a definite hard feel for this is by Flying Frog Productions, and that's Shadows of Brimstone. Now this is different than the other two. There are character trees. You're going to be advancing as you go up levels. You're going to be getting new abilities, just like an RPG feel should give you. But this one is a mixed genre, and I love when the genres mix up. I really do. You tend to get the best of both worlds, and in this case, Shadows of Brimstone is a Cthulhian-style horror game, a Lovecraftian-style horror game that's told from the time period of the Old West. Now, as far as the game mechanics go, this has a really, really solid RPG feel, though it lacks a campaign mode for the two core boxes. And I did find that a little bit bothersome, but it's easy enough to string together your own campaign. My biggest caveat with the game, though, is that you got to build and glue your own miniatures, and mine came out looking absolutely horrible, which is, to be honest, one of the main reasons why I don't show that game off on video. Hold on, let me switch things up. Can I do that? Can I do that? Here we go. Oh, all right. Good. Still not a bad angle. Now, there are two other games that are RPG games, but I consider them near RPG games. And one of them, the first one, I've been talking about a lot. I really hope you're not getting tired of hearing it, but it's fallen into so many categories that I'm talking about right now. And that game is Fallen Land by Fallen Dominion Studios, which is a post-apocalyptic board game. And this has strong, extremely strong RPG feels, because you have teams, you're building them up, you can make them better. But what it lacks is the specific character advancement, because you're dealing with working as a team. Each player is dealing with a team of five characters that are setting out into that wasteland of the Fallen Land. And because of that, you don't have the opportunity to really work on the skill sets of one as much as you would in some of the other RPG-style board games. It's there. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. You know, through equipment, you can boost up their skills and stuff, but there's no character level advancement or skill tree advancement kind of thing. And that's what I mean when I say that I find it a near RPG style board game. I mean, pretty much just about as near as you're gonna get, to tell you the truth. Let's switch back. That's because my arms are getting tired. I forgot my stick. So the other one is something else I've just recently talked about a couple of times. It's a game that is on Kickstarter right now. This is the beginning of March. This is the first Monday in March. The game is on Kickstarter for another few weeks, and that game is Secret Unknown Stuff, Escape from Dulce, which is a sci-fi conspiracy, modern day, modern time, urban myth conspiracy, dungeon delve of a game. Yeah. Wow, that covers a lot of things, doesn't it? And this game has characters that have level advancements. They get better as they advance, but again, we're lacking a skill tree sort of thing, which is why I list that as a near RPG board game. Again, very, very near, as close as you could possibly get, for sure. Now, I want to handle the fails, as I opened up with. And as if you've watched enough of my videos, especially on any of them that have to do with fantasy games, or if you've watched the video, Who the Heck is Big Johnny G, then you know my absolute love of Dungeons & Dragons. There is a system, I think they have 5, let me see, 5, yes, they have 5 games out for this system now, and that's the Dungeons & Dragons Adventure System board game. And it started with Castle Ravenloft, Wrath of Ar-Shadowlan, Legend of Driss, Temple of Elemental Evil, and the most current one that came out is the Tomb of Annihilation. Now, these are fun games. I enjoy them. I enjoy them immensely. My 20-Sided Warriors, my gaming group, they all love these games too. They definitely evoke a good Dungeons & Dragons feel. It'll fit that niche if you can't for some reason play the RPG. Yeah, go ahead, play these. But they're not really RPG board games. Characters can advance from level 1 to level 2, and that's it. When you advance, you get a new skill. That's it. So the role-playing aspect of a board game based on the grandfather of all role-playing games, all 5 of them are an epic fail. In that respect, like I said, they're still fun games to play. I'm not shooting them down, except in comparison to being an RPG-style board game. In fact, Wizards of the Coast, the current owners of Dungeons and Dragons, the premier role-playing game of all time, consistently fail in making, well, a good role-playing game board game. So that's my list of games that if you're looking to fill an RPG feel with a board game, that's the list right there. There's Star Wars, Imperial Assault. Well, actually, to put it in order that I gave it in Descent, 2nd edition, Imperial Assault, Star Wars Imperial Assault, Shadows of Brimstone 3, very good, strong RPG feels to them. Near RPG feels, great games. Almost 100% RPG in a box board games. Fallen Land, Post-Apocalyptic board game, and Secret Unknown Stuff, Escape from Dulce. Very good games. They'll pretty much give you the best example you can get outside of the first 3 that I mentioned. And then, of course, the epic fails for a role-playing game in a box all go to Wizards of the Coast for their Dungeons & Dragons Adventure System board games. Good board games, horrible role-playing game board games. All right, so that was it. That was my list. Those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? What are some really good board games that give you or gave you an RPG feel and experience of that? Put it down in the comments and let us know. So don't forget, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Hit us up on Twitter. We're really, really active on Twitter. And continue subscribing and liking and sharing all our videos here on YouTube. So get ready for the sign out. There we go. All right, everybody. Don't forget, I'm your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and I am out of here.